I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 159, GT64 Championship Edition. Released in 1998, this game was developed by Imagineer and published by Ocean. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, did they port Gran Turismo to the N64? Well, don't let that name fool you. It has nothing to do with that franchise. It's actually the sequel to MRC Multi-Racing Championship that we played all the way back at Game 70. I remember that game being decent enough, but it barely had any content. I like these rally car style racing games much more than something like F1. Hopefully they put a bit more content in this one this time around, because the last one was over in an hour. Let's get into it. So the options menu was pretty barren, off to a good start. The main single player mode in this game is the championship, so that's what we'll be doing to beat this game. There were so many cars with pairs of drivers to choose from. I'm sure these are definitely real people. The 5 Z-Gain Supra, the Castrol Tom Supra, Castrol Ceramo Supra, Denso Supra GT, Zexel Skyline, Unicia Jex Skyline, Calsonic Skyline, Kure R33, Nissan 300ZX GTS, Avex Dome Mugen NSX, Raybrig NSX, and then 2 cars named after the dev and publisher. There's also a ton of information about the car and the engine specs. I went with the Ocean GTR driven by Gareth Betts and Jim Murdoch. Before a race, you can edit quite a few settings on your car. It doesn't give you any kind of stats screen or anything, so it's a bit hard to tell what it does without diving into the manual. Like many other racers, you do a qualifier before the actual race. When driving, it puts up those warning arrows that a tight turn is about to happen. And man, it's hard to ignore the low frame rate. I was drifting like crazy and just basically out of control. There wasn't really anything super outstanding about this first track, just kind of a drive through the countryside forests. When I got to the end, I expected it to say my time and how I placed. However, it just said go instead. Okay, I guess that first lap was just practice or something? Despite my best efforts to screw up nearly every turn, I qualified in first place by 2 seconds. Well, I guess I'll take it. Going into the actual race, it informed me that this was the Europe short. Okay. And within the first 5 seconds, I got passed. Either I was doing worse or that qualifying lap lied. Someone collided with me at one point, except they really didn't. Just kind of phased through me. I fell all the way back to 6th place and called it quits. Oh, there's no kind of options or anything like that in the pause menu. Only the option to quit. I decided to take to the manual to try to make sense of the car settings. It seems like higher suspension gives you better acceleration, which is pretty useful. The front and rear spoilers affect how your car is able to reach high speeds while giving up some control. Armed with this knowledge, I went to the race once again. I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and audio. The graphics are okay, I guess. They're not exactly bad, but many of the textures look quite poor for the N64 in my opinion. Not to mention how the frame rate is just so low. You'd think it'd be stable with how the game looks, but well, for the audio, it is absolute trash. No music, no commentary, only a horrific roaring engine running the entire time. There's really no reason to even have the sound on for this game. Yeah, so I just kept getting destroyed and decided to investigate the other cars. In MRC, there was one vehicle that was way better than all the others, so maybe this has the same thing. The Castrol cars did even worse, so back to Ocean I went. It turns out there's a pit road to go in at the end of laps. I'm not sure why this is here because the car didn't have damage and there were no settings to turn damage on, so yeah, really weird. Yeah, I phased through a car again. 40 minutes in, and I still hadn't won the first race. It was well over an hour now, and I was still stuck on this stupid race. I started trying out all the different cars, and I found the Castrol Ceramo Supra, driven by H. Takeuchi and K. Kamaishi. Setting most of my stats to the middle and my gear ratio to the lowest seemed good. I'd have the most acceleration with average steering and speed. After lap 1, I was in first place still. Never before seen territory here, folks. There are 3 laps in total. I was racing at my peak performance. I just could not be stopped. However, on lap 3, I was passed. This was devastating. On the only attempt where I actually did decent, I was at risk of still losing. We were battling it out in the last few seconds, but thankfully I prevailed in the end. Yes! Oh my god, dude, what the heck? This is so hard! Oh my god! Why was it so hard to win one race? I guess the car was the big change. We were all scored on a point system in a typical league fashion, and it said there were 6 races in total. Okay, seems easy enough. Race 2 was Japan's short. This one was wildly different, as it was in the middle of a city and on the pavement the entire time. I realized something amazing here. Wall strats work perfectly in this game. Well, they do as long as you don't drive in the grass or dirt. Since there's none here, I can abuse these walls like crazy. Getting into the actual race, yeah, this was awesome. The AI racers all slowed down so much, and I just rammed the wall. Hey, did you see where that guy did wall strats in a real NASCAR race? They're legit. Every now and then it gives you updates on how much time you are ahead of the person behind you. After the first lap, I was ahead by 8 seconds. My goodness, it was like night and day difference. I won this by an absolute landslide. Over 20 seconds to be exact. Absolutely crazy how different this was. After that was the USA short course. Again, this was a course entirely on pavement. Looks like we're at a beach in California or something like that. The big thing here again is that I could just blast all the walls to take turns super efficiently. I'm still so shocked at how different the first course felt compared to these two. Nothing too special about this track. It doesn't really feel that different from the last other than it's a beach instead of a city. I won by 20 seconds again. What a great game. So at this point I was monumentally ahead of everyone in points. In fact, it was nearly mathematically impossible to lose. Now you might be thinking, oh, there's 6 races. I wonder what the next track will be. Would you believe it? This game only has 3 tracks, just like MRC. They tried to trick us though by making a short and long version of each one. So it's mostly the same track, but at certain points you go down a slightly different route. I just cannot believe someone would ship a game with 3 tracks to drive on. It's insanity. This is the long version of the European course. I got first place here on my first try. Not sure how that short version gave me so much trouble. Then I rammed into the walls a bunch on the Japan long course. This might be the best game for wall strats so far. I got first place here with ease. Then finally, I got the win on the USA long course, taking a perfect season victory. It shows an image with your crew saying congratulations, and that's all the celebration you get. A cutscene with your car driving around plays, and it points out various landmarks in the courses, I think. Then finally, the credits roll. And yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating GT64 Championship Edition. Oh man, I just don't get it. I didn't buy these games back when they were new, but surely they received complaints about the last game only having 3 tracks, right? And then they just turned around and did it again and expected people to want this? I mean, the game's not horrible, but there's just really not an incentive to want to play it. They seem to go for a realistic look and feel for the rally cars, but I don't know. It's not exactly beautiful looking. The lag during gameplay is so frustrating in a racing title too. I suppose maybe you could grind out best lap times to get some kind of replayability, but yeah. I'm sure this ended up in the bargain bin shortly after coming out. There are plenty of other good racing games and even much better rally style racing games on the console. Don't bother playing this. I gave it a 1.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 3.5 out of 10 for difficulty. Alright, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. We had a randomized marble race to determine which game was next, so here's how that played out. Or skip to the timestamp on screen to skip straight to the game selection. There are 232 games on the list currently. Alright, let's see what we're playing. And everybody's off. Ready to Rumble Boxing, possibly the first down. NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC in the lead, and now Mia Hamm's Soccer getting out, and Quake 2 comes out first, but Quake 2 actually jumps the gun and falls off the cliff, as does Yoshi's Story. And it seems the next Chameleon Twist game is in the league. Pilot Wings goes down, Asteroids as well. And Chameleon Twist, no, Chameleon Twist falls off the cliff. And now Mia Hamm Soccer is in the lead. Custom Robo as well. And no, everything's falling. Nothing can survive. Magical Tetris Challenge, Nightmare Creatures is down. Magical Tetris Challenge gets safely to these turns. Clay Fighter, Rampage, Shogi, Monopoly, WCW. Oh man, a lot of popular games falling off. F-Zero is down. What could it be? What could it be? Who's going to come out first? Everything's falling. It's just chaos right now. John Romero's Daikatana will not be. Magical Tetris Challenge now is early down, but can it get past the comb? And we got a couple more obstacles. And Mario no Photopea, that's just Photoshop essentially. And what is this unmarked marble? Oh, that's our PB marble. I see. We're playing Extreme G. Alright, there you go. But yeah, if you're still here watching, you're awesome. Thank you so much. If you had a good time, consider hitting that like button, or maybe even dropping a subscription. Or hey, maybe even watch another one of these videos that's on screen now. And yeah, see you next time.